Welcome back to the Homestead. So, today I wanted to talk about managing a growing family and your growing homestead. So, we have a Facebook page for the Homestead where we share a little more often than we do here on YouTube, just because a lot of the day to day goings on isn't enough video material for me to put a video together for YouTube. And also, we just don't put the kids on the internet. So, trying to get a video done of some of these projects um, is almost impossible because it is a family affair, this homestead here. But so, with the stuff that I share on the Facebook page, sometimes you get comments and it's a compliment. It's a fantastic compliment. If people's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. How do you do it all? How do you homeschool? How do you homestead and take care of the family?" And really the answer is that I don't. I don't do it all. We all do it together. There is no way that I could do this by myself. I could not do this without the help of my husband. I could not do this without the help of my kids. Um, and for the last couple years, because we have been growing our family, um, our homestead has been in a maintenance kind of status where the first couple years that since we started, we were able to, you know, have a project, build on it, expand, and grow. Because when we got started, my oldest two were between 4 and 6, right? So at that age, that they're extremely good at entertaining themselves. They want to do a lot of helping, which when you have young kids, sometimes letting them help creates a little more extra work, but we want them to be involved with the homestead, so it was okay. Um, and we were able to do that for a few years. Every year we were able to add new projects, expand the garden, and the homeschooling when they're that young is, for at least our approach, was very basic. It based in phonics and writing, so reading, writing, counting. The very kind of like preschool, kindergarten stuff. So it's very easy to throw lessons together, get some schoolwork done, and then go out and do whatever work needed to be done for projects that were going on. And so we were able to make some nice projects or progress and expand the first couple of years. When we brought our third child home, I was still putting daily lesson plans together from scratch. And we brought her home. She was a summer baby. And a couple of days later, our entire garden was just exploding and almost everything was ready to harvest. It was one of the best harvests we had ever had, and there was so much more work. So here I am, a couple of days after birth. Everyone's working together to try and get the harvest up. Now, our approach to our homeschooling is also during planting and harvest, we don't do any schoolwork. It's the kids get a break because I just don't have the time and energy to stay on top of it. So they get a break, and that's another reason why we homeschool year round. So, but I also knew with that harvest and and the plans for the future that I would not be able to expand our homestead if I was also building lesson plans from scratch. So we did decide to invest in a pre-built curriculum. We use the Ron Paul curriculum, which I absolutely love. I highly, highly recommend. It's fantastic. You can test run every course for 5 lessons for free. And then each lesson or each course has a 60-day money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work out for your child and their way of learning, you can email them. They will refund your money. It's all online based. But that was a huge selling point for me, and it so far has been fantastic for the kids. Um, I still obviously am involved. We do weekly kind of quizzes just to make sure that the information that they're learning about is being retained, and they understand it. But outside of that, it was this huge weight lifted off of my shoulders. And so that had freed up a lot of time for me. Now, when you decide to expand your family, obviously, when you've got small children, I nursed all my kids. So when you're nursing, especially the first like 6 to 8 months, there was no time to be able to get outside and do more homestead projects. So that's why we were in this maintenance type of zone for the homestead. It's like here's what we have going on, and I only had enough free time to maintain that, and then maintain whatever household stuff that had to be done. So, and then when our third child got to an age where I could start expanding, we got pregnant with our fourth and final child. And so for almost 4 years, our homestead has been on hiatus when it comes to expansion and plans that we wish to implement for our future, because we were focused on growing our family. And I think that's very important. If you want this to be successful in the long run, you have to be okay with putting that on hold while you grow your family. And because this really is a family affair. And I think if you want to be successful, it needs to be a family affair. If everyone else in the family wants nothing to do with it, it is going to be extremely stressful, for you and for everyone else. So I have no advice on how to change that for you, but for us, it's a family affair. We all participate in planting and harvesting. We all participate in daily chores for the animals. We all participate in butcher days. I mean, everything is centered around family here. So, of course, my future plans for the homestead, although I am one of the most impatient people when it comes to, I have an idea, I want to implement it, I want to get it done, let's go. But we were growing our family. So in all reality, I never at one time did I ever, juggle or balance all of this. It was something needs to be put on hold. We didn't stop doing it, obviously. We just maintained where we were at. So now my youngest, she'll be 2 this summer. So she's at an age where she is very easily entertained by her older siblings and loves to play. She can tag along and follow me around while I do fencing, and she'll just play around in the dirt, whatever it is. And then she goes down for a daily nap, and I have a couple of hours to really get some work done on a project and things like that. So we're after 4 years of putting all of our plans on hold, we are finally at a point where we can start expanding again. And so I think people have this misconception of like, oh, we've been expanding this whole time. No. We've been on hold for a few years. And that's really important. I think you need to be able to step back and be able to do that if you want this to be a success long term. So this year we are expanding all kinds of stuff. I've said it before, we've hatched out a bunch of chicks. We've got 45 chicks that will be put in the freezer. I'm hoping at least 5 or 10 of them turn out to be hens, and we can keep them as layers, as replacement layers. The layers we have right now are 2 years old, so next year will be year 3. I think we could get one more season out of the girls. I'm not going to throw them in the freezer too soon, because we may get some good production next year still. But I know that, they're coming to an end, so I want to replace them. Once the paddock is finished, we'll be bringing in a buck, and we'll get the goat spread. So our dairy is expanding as well. That'll be so fun. I can't wait. I mean, if one Nigerian dwarf kept 6 of us in milk for the time that we milked her, then having 2 will not only keep us in milk, but will give us extra for cheeses and butters and yogurts and all the wonderful dairy products that we use on a regular basis. So that's extremely exciting, as well as the rabbits. We're going to be expanding the rabbits um, to provide enough meat for us for the year, and also to have some set aside for sale, which I will do a whole nother video on how we're doing that. I have figured out a way to secure our local food chain, at least for a couple of extra families. Um, and then I'm hoping to also bring in quail as another protein source. So we're doing it. We're expanding the garden and everything we're growing. We're expanding with hugelkultur beds, oat fields, corn crops, all of it. So I'm excited because, like I said, we've been on hiatus for a few years, and now like all of the that giddiness of a new adventure is back because it's all starting again. So I hope this gives you guys some ideas and at least kind of eases your peace of mind. If you're getting started and you have really small children, it's okay to not have a full functioning homestead. It's okay to just have a few chickens in a garden, or even just a garden. Focus on your family first, and the rest will fall into place. I promise. If it's something you really want, take those couple of years to nurture your family and then start expanding. All right, until next time. Love you guys.